If you've ever had a relationship where someone really hurt you, someone you cared about did something just completely awful, unexpected, they cheated on you, they treated you really poorly, it's just the worst. It takes a long time to heal from those wounds. It's traumatic. And naturally, we want to protect ourselves from that stuff happening ever again. So sometimes when we get into new relationships, we try to make sure that we do everything in our power to prevent getting hurt. The catch-22 of this is trying to prevent yourself from getting hurt often leads to more hurt. So that's what I want to talk about today. If you are carrying emotional baggage from a past relationship into a new one and trying your best to avoid being hurt, usually you end up getting more hurt. So there has to be a better solution. Let me explain. The most common things I see people try to protect themselves from in new relationships are when you think the person's going to use you for sex, especially if you're a woman, if you think that they're going to lie to you, if they're going to cheat on you, or if they're eventually going to hurt you. And so you try in your power everything possible to prevent that from happening. Maybe you make a guy wait a really long time to be intimate, okay? You maybe take 3, 4, 5, or even longer dates because you think if he's investing that much, he's not just going to use you and he actually cares about something more. Same thing with trying to make sure they don't cheat on you. Maybe you try to look at their text messages, or you ask them who they're talking to, or you have their passwords to their email or whatever. You think that if I am checking on their texts, or if they know that they have to share these things with me, they are so much less likely to cheat. Right? It makes sense. But this is a fallacy because human nature is to not want to be controlled. And when that happens, what do? We try to rebel as much as possible. So if you're trying to prevent someone from cheating and they feel like they're observed all the time, they don't have your trust, they're being watched, all that's going to make them feel is that they don't have independence. They don't have trust. That doesn't make them feel good. And the honest truth is, if they want to cheat, they are going to do it. You telling them don't cheat or I'm going to be watching is not going to stop anyone. We can't stop people from committing crimes with the prospect of long life sentences or even the death penalty at times. People still will go out of their way to commit crimes when they have much higher stakes, right? So you think telling somebody not to lie to you and you'll figure it out, or to not dare cheat to you, is going to make a difference if that's what they really want? No. So that's something that you have to accept, is that the only thing you have control over is yourself. And trying to manipulate the other person or trying to get ahead of it is just likely to cause a lot of problems. Okay, because what happens? You are basically closing your heart to them in certain ways. If you're withholding sex, even though you want intimacy and you're ready deep down, you are showing them that you are not fully available emotionally, that you don't want to be close to them. And then that makes them feel like they can't actually be open with you. And you think making a guy wait for sex is really going to prove whether or not he's into you for the long term? No way. Guys will be friend-zoned with women and pretend to be friends or wait around or wait for them to break up with someone for weeks, months, years at the prospect of sex. So you holding it over their head for a few dates, if the guy just wants to get laid and bounce, that's not going to make a difference. All you're going to do is close your heart and assume the worst to the people in your life. You're going to assume that they're going to hurt you. You're going to withdraw. You're going to protect yourself. You're going to hold things conditionally. You're going to get into that controlling behavior. You cannot close off parts of your heart and actually feel human connection. That is the exact opposite of human connection. When two people are opening and sharing and being vulnerable, that's when we feel close. All your partner is going to feel is that they can't actually get close to you, that they're overwhelmed with the amount of pressure that they have, that they don't have trust or security in this relationship. And therefore, they're going to also reciprocate similar behaviors. They may withdraw as well. They may not be as open with you. They may be afraid that if you are this controlling or paranoid about things, that should they even be in this relationship? Can you handle a healthy relationship? And what happens there? I see people perpetuate the cycle that they're afraid of in the first place. They create massive amounts of jealousy. The other person feels like, I can't take this anymore, and they break it off and they leave. Now the first thing that you were scared of oh, this person's just going to leave me, actually happened, but you made it to be true because you encouraged that to happen. Or let's say you start testing them to see how honest they are, and you start like lying a little here and there, or setting them up to have traps, and maybe they accidentally fail one, right? They slip up on something, or they have human nature, or they didn't think of something a certain way, and then you're like, see, I knew you were going to lie to me, or I knew you weren't being fully honest. Now the other person is just sitting there the whole time thinking like, are they testing me all the time? Are they like secretly setting me up to fail? Are they trying to always catch me in something to like prove me wrong? That is not going to make you feel like you can fully give yourself to somebody. Does that mean everyone's going to screw you over and now you're doomed in relationships? No. What it means is you have to drop that expectation that somebody is going to wrong you, because you will prove yourself right, you will do behaviors that encourage that, and you will push people away, and you will lose out on those opportunities. And that creates that cycle where you're like, great, another person hurt me, I'll be more defensive, more standoffish, more closed off. Oh, the next person hurt me and couldn't get close. And you basically stay in this loop of misery and pain, and you think it's because everyone's, always going to do this to you, when reality is sometimes we're creating our own destiny. What you have to do instead is you have to work through your pain from your past relationships and tell yourself, listen, it sucked, that person hurt me, they wronged me, but that's not going to be everyone. And again, I can't control that. And I have to be open to somebody showing me their best sides so that I feel secure that they won't do those things. I have to give them trust. I have to give them intimacy if I'm ready for it, and see if they'll return it in healthy ways. I have to be honest with them and show them that I will communicate with them and talk to them when I'm upset, and give them a chance to also do the same. And that pattern for the right person will help them feel more secure. They'll bring them their best selves back into the relationship, and that's going to reinforce that security in yourself of like, okay, I do have somebody who cares, who is open, who is communicative, who is invested, who wants to grow, who's not just sitting here willing to hurt me. If that's not the case, and somebody does break that trust or hurt you again, then you accept, great, this is not the right person for me, they're incompatible, I should move on if this is continually happening, or I feel like they really did something awful to me, to focus on the person who will. But the answer is, you kind of have to be vulnerable yourself and give yourself a little bit to the relationship, and trust that the right person will be able to give you the same things you want back. Lead with openness. If you have trust issues and jealousy from past relationships, tell your partner like, hey, listen, I want your independence. I'm super happy by it. Sometimes it makes me feel a little uneasy because of stuff that happened in the past, but I want that, and I just want to be able to talk through that with you. If I ever feel like tense about it, like, let's talk about it. If you really value honesty, bring that to the table, but then also tell them like how important that is to you. Say, listen, no matter what happens, if there's a hard talk you need to have, if there's something you're uncomfortable with or you want different in this relationship, as difficult as it may be for you to talk about it and for me to hear it, that's what I want at the end of the day. And so even if it challenges us at first, we still need to get to that point, and I still want that. And ask them for help if you're struggling with the things yourself. If you can't fully be honest sometimes when something's upsetting you and you tend to withdraw or be reserved, let them know. Say, listen, sometimes when I get upset, I get a little closed down and I'm trying to work on that, but I would love your help. So even if I feel upset about something, but I'm not talking about it, I want you to feel like you can come to me and say, hey, what's bothering you? And if I'm like still a little standoffish, know that deep down, I really do want to be able to talk about things, so it is the right answer. Remember, the heart is mainly muscle. If you don't engage it, it will atrophy. And the only way to grow it is to engage it regularly. That's how you'll open your heart to real love, to a great connection, and leave that emotional baggage at the door where it should be. Now, if you love this advice and you want more love in your life, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and we'll talk soon.